Hey, preceptors. Yes, so it has been an interesting week to say the very least. I think if it was a couple months ago, none of us would have thought that we are currently in the situation that we are, but we are. So first, thank you all for just your support and me sending out the emails last week and obviously understanding students being pulled from their clinicals, the university shutting down courses and all that stuff. So thank you so much for your support and communication with me because that's very, very important. Hopefully you guys are trying to absorb everything that's going on. I've been sharing with the students that trying to focus on reliable sources, so sticking to the WHO and the CDC as far as information to disseminate, and also distancing and taking some time away from the media as far as related to everything that's coming out. So making sure that we're taking precautions, but not overwhelming us to the point where we feel, paralyzed. Because remember, this is a precaution. COVID-19 is a precaution, and us doing all these things is to prevent and slow the transmission of disease so that our hospital systems and our health systems don't bottleneck and they don't get overwhelmed and then collapse. So this is actually a good thing, although living in the chaos of it right now is very interesting. So with that said, the students, they're okay. I've checked in with most of them virtually. They're doing fine. They understand the reason that this is happening and it's a precaution and all that stuff. So they're good. And I'm sure you guys want to know probably how they're feeling. Last week, when we released pulling them from clinical placements, we had anticipated that maybe we might have to pull them temporarily, but then let them return. And clearly, as days, if not hours, unfolded, we can see that it's a very much different situation right now. So many of our athletics are closed, schools are shutting down, they're not functioning. So even to have our clinical immersion students probably return for a couple weeks would not be beneficial because many of the facilities are closed and or changing their policies. And then in regards to the first year students, most of them are placed at high schools and the schools are closed at least now for at least, I believe, 3 weeks. So it doesn't look like we're going to anticipate returning our students to their clinical placements at this point in time. But with that said, don't worry. I know that, sometimes you wish you could have said goodbye or, had that kind of final thing with them. So once this calms down, facilitating that and organizing that as far as to see them and say goodbye and have those things is great. Or even scheduling a virtual meeting or a phone call or something like that is completely normal and appropriate. I know that your students would appreciate it and it would mean a lot. So don't worry that those things are natural and normal and you're happy to do them. So with that said, that kind of ties into evaluations. So with the second years, they had 2 weeks left of their clinical immersion. What I'm probably going to do is just release their end of semester evaluations and have you guys, the preceptors, complete those. So that'll be kind of normal. I will send separate emails in regards to evaluations and stuff, but I'll probably release those. First years, they just finished their mid-semester, so I will probably more than likely go ahead and utilize their mid-semester evaluation as their evaluation score for the course, and things like that. The students will still be expected to do their self-evaluation and then the one on Preceptor on you guys, and then the one on the clinical site. And so I'll facilitate all of that. And we are going to have them do a virtual meeting or at least a phone call with you guys to discuss those. Because we think it's really important, especially in these times, for them to continue to have that communication and that correspondence. So although you guys normally do that face-to-face at the end of the semester, talk about those things, we will require that you guys do that either virtually or over the phone. And there'll be something associated with that to make sure that that's done. As far as Katie, we're moving forward. Katie has set out a statement releasing and supporting us. They also set out a statement saying that we should also make sure that we are doing what we can to ensure that our students are getting the experiences and obtaining the accreditation standards. So we are rethinking, we are shifting, we are being innovative, and we are kind of changing things as everything unfolds. Wayne State is allowing us to go ahead and submit to our department chair and our dean a case-by-case situation that they would take into consideration if a face-to-face needed to occur. We're going to move forward and ask them to allow our second year students to still do their simulations, because we believe those are culminating and those are going to go ahead and capture some information that's going to help us achieve those accreditation standards. So thank you to those that are working on those simulations with me. We're going to hopefully be able to utilize them and implement them. If not, I've spoken to most of you, we're going to have them for the future, and then we can go ahead and use them in the future. But hopefully we'll be able to use them and we'll be moving forward. And I've been working with you guys individually for that. So thank you for that. What else? If you, family member, coworker, anything, if you have been exposed or have symptoms of COVID-19 or know of anyone that's been exposed or identified as the case, please let me know. And that's just a way that we can go ahead and slow the transmission of disease. That's all that is. So please keep us informed. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And let's work together through this. I know this is unique and different. We're all having to function quite differently. I don't know, reach out to us if you guys are maybe struggling with policies and how to implement things. Sometimes in education, we're a little bit more versed in policies, or, we have accreditation communication. And so, they kind of are dictating, I don't want to say the gold standard, but almost that high standard. And so if you guys are unsure, maybe communicating with us and we could help you align to make a decision, or, you guys might have to be doing some teleworking and you're not used to, and we know some distance learning communication and techniques that are effective, and vice versa. There's things for you guys that we need. So I think maybe if we just think like, I'm faced with this issue, oh, hey, maybe I have this resource that seems non-traditional, and that could be you for me and me for you. So just kind of keep that we're here to support each other regardless. It doesn't just have to be related to obviously the students in education. And then normally at this time I do what? I do a teaching tip, right? But I felt like maybe we just need a tip for ourselves. So in this time, I think it's really important to focus and remain on being healthy physically and mentally, making sure that we're following CDC and WHO recommendations and regulations, keeping yourself in a routine. If you haven't, find one. Routine is super, super important. It allows us to kind of function and get through these times. So if you have one, stick with it. If you don't, I would encourage you to find one. I've been working for a couple hours at home, and then I go outside and take, a 20, 30-minute walk break. I even then will sometimes call my parents and my family and friends and talk to them while I'm walking around. It allows me to go ahead and feel like I'm still socially connected. And then I'm getting outside, some fresh air, some sun, which is really nice. And then I'm coming back in and I'm working. So that's been really effective and beneficial to go ahead and do that. So just remember, take this time. And also maybe take this time to just get back to the basics. I was out running yesterday because I run on Sundays, and I've never seen more families out as a family, just walking around and being together, keeping our social distance. And it was really nice and lovely. And so maybe in this time, we just get back to that, decrease the social media, speak to each other, spend time together, play games, read that book you've always wanted to read, start that hobby you never did, maybe start a physical regimen that you never did. I mean, it's just, I think in these times, we could take it and utilize it to become, a better version of ourselves. And lastly, one other thing with that, my husband's been doing a lot of research related to things associated with his work at Beaumont. And so he's been looking at a lot of stuff that's going on in China. And just a tip for you, they are treating the patients predominantly with IV vitamin C. So they're actually recommending 50 milligrams per kilo of body weight as a preventative measure. So get on a vitamin C regimen. It might help, it might not. But I've been doing it, and so we're going to stick with that. Lastly, we will be in contact. This probably won't be the last Preceptor update. We will be in touch, and we'll be navigating things as they unfold. But just remember, we are in this together. We are a community, and we are here to help each other. And although we are feeling like we are all alone because of the social distancing and all that stuff, we are not. And I am here. And I can schedule a virtual meeting or a phone call whenever any of you guys need it. So if you need anything, let me know. But I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon virtually for sure. Thanks.